the code view of that. Here I'm going to create a folder called db_scripts. This is where I'm going to create my database scripts. So I haven't had that file, so let's create a file. So this is a folder. Let's have a look. Is the folder has been created? Yeah. It's medium size. Large icon maybe, even more extra large. This is the folder I have just created. db_script. This is where I'm going to create my database scripts, SQL scripts, and I'll keep updating it as I go along. At the moment, this is empty.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
If you want to download, go ahead. I give you some time to download those who did not.
Right.
No, that's fine. If you want to practice it, it'll be good.
New folder, yeah, DB. Okay.
Those ones to practice it, just practice on this one for now.
Okay, yes. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, here. In this folder, I'm going to create a new file. You can give this file anything you like. Usually, the good idea to do this, give the name of the database, whatever name database you have. So obviously, I'm going to call it PC Globe or something for fun. So I'm going to just say PC Globe .sql. Extension would be SQL. That's pretty much, that's the database. And I press enter. This is the empty scripts at the moment.
Okay.
Just for everything. One file, everything. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to create it. So obviously, the first thing you do, learn this good. It will help big time. The first thing I will do in this case, I will first create a database and give it a name. So in this language, this is another language, but it is similar to most other database. So you can comment it. You can also put comments in here. So I'm just going to put comments, you put 2 small dashes. Okay. That's a comment. So if I write something, it will be green. This is something for you. There's no multi-line, just single line. Okay, put a space, write whatever you like. So I'm going to call it database, for example, just for ourselves. And we're going to call it, what did I give a name? PC Globe. You notice that when I'm trying to give a name, I will not keep it space. I'll use underscore to give the name of the database. And I'm going to call it PC Globe. That's it. So that's just a comment saying that this is where I'm going to create my database. Okay. So it's pretty simple. You write a very English word, create. And as you see create, because the file system is .sql, the editor is clever. It is going to identify this as a SQL server database. It is going to give the color for each of the keyword. And the keyword is a blue color. So create database. Now you may wonder, shall I have to do capitalized? No. This is case insensitive. You can write small letter too. But I tend to keep all the keywords capital letter, usually. But it's not case sensitive. You can write like this if you want. Okay, you see it's going to be like this. But I will keep it like this, just to identify them as a keyword. As a create database, give it a name, it will be fine. What name? Name will be PC_globe. However, the always a good idea when you create this script to check if the database is already exist. Same name database. So if it does exist, what happens is it's going to add new things that you're adding every day. It's not going to recreate it, a fresh one, or not trying to recreate the fresh one. I could have said like this, simple PC globe. Please create a database called PC globe. That's pretty much it is. Now, if I have a PC globe already, it's going to replace, or it's going to complain saying that it's going to replace basically everything. I don't want that. I wanted to add one more clause before it. It's called if not exist. And these are SQL syntax, a command. Exists. Why did I put it? Exist. If not exist. Create database if not exist. Always a safe command to use this. So if you already have it, it will not try to create it. It's going to add anything that you added newly, lately. Added a product, added a collab. It's going to keep trying to do those things. So that's database. And every statement finish with a semicolon. This allows you not to put a semicolon. It allows. But that's not a good practice. Each statement are separated by a semicolon. So put a semicolon at the end. We write this. That's one thing. And I will now run it. I will now run this one thing. So first I see whether I have a database like this. I know that I have one called shop. So obviously computer shop is not going to affect that one. I'll leave this the way it is. I'm on the home page. I make sure I'm on the home page by clicking this little button. This. To run this command, you have multiple options. You can import this scripts. But because you have only one line of command, you can just copy this. Just select it, copy it. I can put it in a chat if you want, those who are practicing. Chat. Just put in a chat in case. Just gonna copy this. I'm gonna go here. I'm on the home page. I make sure that this is home is saying server main root. I'll click on SQL button. Very powerful thing. Click on here. You click on here, you paste it here. Then there will be a go button at the bottom. If you're doing it, go ahead and do it. Have fun with it. You just can create a simple file in your project called DB scripts and try this as well. But I will have this uploaded for you anyway. So I said, okay, go ahead and do this. If I have the same one, it will say exist, PC globe exist. I don't have any. And whatever you do, there are a few files you should not delete database, such as this or this. These are system databases. This. These are system database. Anyway, you're not going to delete them anyway. Don't delete anything unless you know them. What are they? Create database if not exist, PC global, and let's go. There is a go button on this side. Let me just get my cursor. There is a go button underneath. It is scroll down here, but you can I just zoom it. So yeah. So let's fire it up. Click on go button. It says MySql return an empty result set, which is good, a green color. When you see green color and saying something, that's the reply comes back from the database. You always have some sort of reply coming back from your database, which we can then use in PHP automatically to figure out if it's okay or not. They communicates. We can communicate between them. So this is the real message you see. It's saying whatever it's saying is green. We may not understand what it's saying. It says, hey, we just have created something empty. And that's the command that's gone through. So, of course, a little warning here. No database selected. I will come back to that in a minute. It's still we're in the root of the tree. We just created a pretty globe, empty database here right now. Now you should be able to see it. In case you don't see it, just refresh this for one time. Refresh this, it will come.
Sorry, Subrata, because my internet just cut off.
Sure.
Okay, so I just go to XAMPP and go to PHP or
PHP MyAdmin. So in XAMPP, when you open the XAMPP control panel, like this, start both of them. Start Apache, start MySQL. See if they are green.
Okay. Yeah, they're green. Yeah, okay. And then
just click on admin for the MySQL.
Okay, sorry. So I click on MySQL and then start or what?
Yeah, start. You already have started, don't you? They started, like green.
Yeah, they're green, yes.
To click on admin section of MySQL to come to this server.
Yeah, okay, but how do I go to this section at all? Because when I open XAMPP, I've got go to application, open application folder, visit Apache, get support, yeah? Or I've got welcome, manage server events.
When you click, do you see something like this? Comes or not?
Hold on.
I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. Sorry. Maybe we are actually in a different place. I mean, like I'm in a different place. So where I basically click on XAMPP, it comes up with the normal, interface. And on the interface, it just shows me 3 servers, yes? MySQL, Pro, FTDT, and Apache. So then what? Then I go, then MySQL is green and it shows running, yeah?
Can you see
I'm not here yet there. I'm a step before. When I just basically open the XAMPP folder. I'm not in the control panel. I'm in the welcome.
You need to turn on control panel. This one. So to do this, you need to. Do you remember you have a control panel in the XAMPP? If you go to XAMPP, let me show you where it is. Yeah. See, this is XAMPP, right? This is XAMPP. For you, locate.
Oh, sorry, because I'm on a different thing. I think I'm not in there.
Share your screen.
Okay. Hold on.
I will help you. Co-host. You should be able to share your screen. Share with me. I'll have a look.
Okay.
Remember, your Mac. Not gonna be exactly similar. Slightly different.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
It's coming.
Yeah, you see where I am. So this is what I mean. I'm not yet into the control panel. Where do I go?
So go to welcome. Go to welcome. For your case, you should be in the welcome.
Yeah, I'm in welcome.
Okay. Go to application. Click on go to application.
Oh, okay. This is what I meant. Like I was like one step behind.
Okay, you have to, in Mac, you have to manually type it. You see at the moment on the URL, it says localhost. Click on the URL for me. Okay. Okay, here, remove the dashboard word. You have to manually type it. Type.
Type? No, you tell me type.
No, you type it. Localhost /php.
My admin.
Actually, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's it. That's the menu. That's why you manually do it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you another technique you can do it. I'll show you another technique you can go it. If you don't remember what to type, go back to your control panel, please.
Here, yeah.
Click on go to application again. Let it load. On the top right corner, can you see it's written PHP MyAdmin?
Oh, okay.
Click there. It's the same place.
Okay, thank you.
That's
all right.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Guys, those who are using Mac, this is the slightest difference. Okay, so let's share. Let me just quickly check something. If I do.
I wonder if Mac is always a trouble, you know. I wonder with programming, or is it just with the server?
Yeah, Mac is actually okay. It's not bad. It's just a more design friendly than. Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's fine. It's fine. You just get around with it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You just get around with it. After a while, you get. Okay, let me just share my screen again. And I put a little piece of code there for you. Those who wants to copy that, if you're following, if you want to, you can follow it. So let me just go ahead and do the remaining. Share your screen. And share a small command. I think it's good that you're trying, actually, even though it takes a little while, but it's good that you're trying. So it's good. It's always good to try. So where am I? So here I have a code that I'm writing. And the code has one thing in it only. Create database if not exists. Name of the database and a semicolon. So just copy that line from me, from your chat that I gave. You want to give it different name later, give it. For now, keep it the way it is.
But, okay. And it has to be in capital?
So I copy this. And no, that's what I said earlier, that each user, can be small letter. It's case insensitive. But I tend to write them capital because they are keyword. It's just to give it a unique writing style. You can write them small letters. Not a problem. Not a problem. As long as you see they turn into blue color, that means you have typed it correct. For example, last time I mistyped this thing. I put an E. It says I don't find anything like this. So it matches. This gives you a signal saying that, yeah, there is a matching keyword called exist. And it's matching, that's why it turned into blue. But whatever I'm typing, it is white color. This gives a lot of help in terms of writing a code into this code editors. So that's okay for now. And you copy this line. You copy this piece of line. And then you go to the actual database server, which is this, where we are. Make sure you click on home page when you do first time. So I clicked on this home page. It's here, right here. The first home. And then you go to SQL tab. You click on this SQL tab. It'll give you an interface to run the command. You paste it here. And then you fire it up by clicking the go button somewhere down below.
Okay.
Brilliant. If you've done that, you may not see this you may see this straight away, you may not see these. That's the database. It's like a folder. You just created an empty folder in the database called PC_globe. If you don't see for some reason, you just refresh this button.
Okay.
Refresh this, and you should be able to see it. See if you can do it. Anyone else practicing? Trying? It's okay. I'll wait. Rather, it's not a big deal because this is foundation of it. So if you get the foundation by doing it, it's really good. Later on, you struggle. So rather you know, because as I said, it will be a couple of weeks, few weeks. Obviously, we tend not to go backward. So please do practice if you want to, if you have time, if you are busy doing other thing, or I know it's evening time, you have kids, and obviously it's important. But if you do that, or do it later on if you can't. But doing along with me, you will have, if you issue at the beginning, you can always ask. I will happily stop by. Never be afraid to ask. There is no working for me, or it is something that I want. Maybe I'll stop by.
Perfect. And it shows me error 1046, no database selected, but basically it's created a database, so it's all right, yeah?
It is created. It is all right. That yellow colored thing is a warning. It is not an error, but you picked it good. It's saying that maybe you would have selected it first. So we'll do that in next slide. Okay, what it's trying to say, I will explain you. But for now, it is okay. Okay. So what it's trying to say that when it creates a folder for you, and obviously you're going to work on that database called PC_globe. Now, it is like when you climb a tree, if you want to work on a branch of a tree, the first thing you have to do, you have to actually climb the tree itself, isn't it? To get to the branch. So this is a tree. This is the root. Of course, if you want to create a table within it, let's say I want to now create a branch within it. I need to first go climb the tree, or I want to cut a branch, for example. I need to climb the root. So it's trying to say that you have many databases here. Of course, after this, you will be creating content to the database, like tables, putting data. It will suggest you next stage, select the folder. For example, if you create a folder in your database, in your desktop, for example, and you want to put some file in the folder, the first thing, you create a folder, don't you? Then you open that folder and do copy paste other things in that. Am I correct?
Yes.
This is exactly similar. So it's saying you have created a folder along with other folder. You have created a database with other databases on the lab. Which one would you like to use? So you have to do two things. Either click visually here on the database, then you will see it is here. You see, at the moment we are in a root. This is the root. We are still in the root of the entire database server. This is the root of a server. But we haven't selected any database yet. So the best things to do is click on it. That's what it's trying to say. Please go inside the folder before you copy paste something in the content, right? It's just like same thing you do in a computer. If I create a folder or directory and I want to put some data in there, of course I have to go inside the folder, don't I? So that's what it is saying. So the way to do it is by graphic, you just can click on it. So yeah, okay. Don't worry about this one. This one is trying to say me that you haven't saved anything. Now, since I clicked it, look this bit here on the top. You will see it's now telling that I'm no longer in the server root. I'm inside that newly created database. All you have to do, click on here. That's what it's trying to say, because we are about to create tables. So you need to go inside that folder. That's what it's trying to say. Let me know if you understood this up to. It's a common phenomenon. See when you click if you see this guy. Is that Kasha is doing it very good for me as well, because other students as well. So you have a working environment working in two places at the same time. So
it shows my server as localhost, so I assume it's good, yes? Because yours shows 1 to 7, but I think it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's showing IP, you're showing it. But does it show this next to it?
Yeah, it does.
This PC_globe. Brilliant. And also, when you are inside the folder, it's also giving you a little bit of warning, isn't it? The yellow color. No tables found in the database. That means saying, hey, you have a database, but no table. It's trying to help you by guiding you that at the moment your database is empty. Next stage to create the tables, like product tables, user tables. So we'll get to there. So you should see this anyway. Leave it there. Now, to select that database, what I did, I clicked on this. Okay. Never forget to do that, because if you do that, what happens? If you do not do that, and if I start creating the table, this table will be stored in somewhere else folder, which you will be hard time to find, and you don't want that. So you need to select that folder, that database, in order to be prior to create tables. Otherwise, those tables will be created, but somewhere else, maybe in the system folder. You never know. So then you're not going to find them, and that's not what we want. So that's why many students at the beginning, they do mistake. They create a database and straight away, without selecting it, even though it's warned it, please select the table database. They started creating the table, and then the table got lost forever. It will be somewhere installed in the system database. We don't want that. Now I can create a table. I can create a table manually, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the code. So by clicking this fella, I have selected this. Now this is graphically I'm doing. What about the code? If I run this entire scripts using, like when you install WordPress, a different CMS, you wouldn't be going directly to database to create it. WordPress have a wizard. Next. How that script's actually going to select? What command it would have to select that particular database? That's the command we need to put in our code, which is this. Just give me 1 second. We're going to do, let me just give you the code for that line. It is extremely important line after this. Extremely important line. So this is called use, in English, the name of the database. And we always have these things here, just after this. We said, okay, first create it, and please go use that database. That's what it is, the instruction in terms of code. It's always good that you learn that more, because no matter which interface it is, this function is going to work. Okay. But I already have selected by clicking on it. Oh, we're just going to add this bit. Use the name of the database. Use is the command, the SQL command, as select or click, instructing the next what to do to the scripts. Because that case, you wouldn't be there for your client to click and do this. The scripts will do the talking. That's why we're making the scripts.
Okay.
It's really simple. In terms of writing, it's pure 4th generation language. And that means it's English-like, basically. However, it doesn't mean that it is not complex enough, even though it is written English-like. But once you unfold this step by step, you'll never forget it. And so it's really one of the coolest language. And then comes your AI and ontologies and everything depends on its things. So I'll leave it that. And next thing, I want to create a product table. This is what I'm going to create now. I'm going to create a product table with very basic information in there. And I will try to complete it. Okay. So what I want to do, I'm just get rid of this guy. I need more space. Excuse me. So I have this, maybe I can make it bigger a little bit. Here I'm going to put another comment. Product table. You don't have to do it table, but if you want, just for your fellow colleagues, you can say product. Not in plural, it's a singular product. So an object of product you're about to create. This is just like your JavaScript objects that you created, but we are creating in database. Please create a prototype called product with following columns. So there will be many records, but it's never going to be called, technically you can call it products as well. Not a problem. It's not a big deal. But theoretically, it's actually a prototype. It's just a recipe of that. That create. Every time it's created a table, it follow this recipe. So it's called product. But there will be multiple products, line or products. But we call them product. But you can call it products as well. So I'm just going to call it product standard. Of course, I'm going to use the capitalization. This time, create table. Table. Again, I'm going to use if not exist clause, an additional feature. I could just say create table products. I always use if not exist when I create something new. If not exist. This is coming. I'm going to give a name of the table in a small letter. Things that I'm writing myself, I'm going to write them underscore or small letters if they are two words. Things that is keyword, I'm going to follow the trend. So that is going to be one function. Just like this. This will create our template objects for product table. It's a built-in. We just gave the name of the function. So I can just copy this for you if you want, or you can just type it.
Is there any semicolon on the end or not?
Not at the moment. You can write it actually prior to it. We're going to add a few more things than add the semicolon. But if you want, it's actually a good idea. You can put it there for now. We'll do this. To separate the entire things separately, you can put a semicolon here as well. So let's create the first column called product ID. We're going to create something called product ID. Let's have a look how it looks like actually. I have a sample of this so you can see what we are about to create, which is, let's open this one, the one I have. Click on product table. So you get a picture what we are about to create. These are the column name we've chosen for the time being. You can add more. Product ID, product name, product price, stocks, product image. Each of these will have different types of data type. For example, product price would be float or decimal. Product price stock would be simple normal number integer. The name could be text. The product ID could be a number integer. Name of the image. Remember, we're not going to store the image into database. Never do a store image in the database. You just store the name of the database with the extension. That's it, as a text. This you do. This is the table we're going to create with few very basic columns. So let's go ahead and do this for our PC Globe. I'm going to type this first here. I'm typing it because everything I do in a SQL folder, SQL tab, is going to go away after it creates. So I'm going to keep a copy here by first typing it here. So first column will be product ID. Underscore ID. I usually use underscore. Sorry, this is not underscore. Underscore if there are two words, and I usually use small letter when I give the name of the column. That's a normal. Now, this is the column name. You choose anything you like. You could call it just ID. You could call it product ID. You could call it product identification number. You could call it anything you like that suits, tells that this is going to be unique number, and this column will be treated as a unique reference of each product. You may have same product 2 times the same name, but ID will be different. So the first thing you choose the name. Second thing, when you put a space, you might see something like this coming, telling you, please provide a data type for what kind of data this column or the cell will hold. And I know there are plenty of them, lot of different data types, date, time, characters, doubles, integers. Basically, there are hundreds, time stamp, but we don't have to worry. This is a number, and integer is the one represent that number.
Okay.
You can just type int instead of integer. Okay, just pick it. Or you can just type int. Of course, how long you want this storage for this integer? Maybe 10 digit, 10 digit, 20 digits, 30 digit. Because this is going to be a minor small. If it is a 10 digit, I can store information like up to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up to this amount of digit. So if I have that amount of it, length of products, I can go. If you want more digits, go ahead and do this. But I think 10 is standard. That should be okay. It's quite big enough. Each ID, second ID will be much bigger. Stuff like this. But it will only have 10 digits in length. If you want more digit, you can. So the digit that I'm going to mention in here, 10 for now.
Okay.
So second bit is the data types. You say, hello integer, could you please store for each cell for ID? At the moment it's 1, 2, 3 is simple. When you go 100 product, 100th ID, and then you go 1000th of product. So up to 10 character, 10 digits it will store. And it will store as a number. So that's the second part. First part is the name of the column. Second part is the data type. You must choose a data type for each of the column, just like your variable. And of course, this one cannot be empty. That's called restriction or constraint in English. Constraint. Raphael is the constraint. How do I say in French? Constraint. Must be very hard. Constraint is rule.
Yeah, constraint.
Content.
Constraint. So you don't pronounce the S.
Okay. Are you sure it's called content? Content.
Constraint. Let me write it.
Content. Okay. Go ahead. This one's a tough one. Content. So this is definitely going to be my data type, and then comes any constraint, or constraint, rule, restriction that you want to put. I say it cannot be empty. To say it cannot be empty, all you have to just put not space now. So this is the third bit we're adding, all separated by a space. Not null, even though they look up. Fantastic. Constraint. Well, nice. Thanks, Raphael.
Constraint.
Not now. There are 2 words. Constraint. Oh my God. You guys are good. I'm not that good. Okay, good. Not now is the third constraint. Because we want this is unique, and we want this to automatically increment. That means when I enter the data new product, it will be like 1, 2, 3, 4 automatically. We want it to increment automatically. To add this additional feature, you have a command that you can add to the line. This is only for this column. It's called auto increment. Auto increment. Always remember, this is also going to be a primary unique key. No two products should have same product ID. Some people, they also create custom product ID with P001, P002, P003, stuff like this. But that is a waste of time. You just rely on this easily. You can just put, so you can just say auto underscore increment. And this will add, each of these command means something to this. And you finish that with the comma, not with semicolon, because we have more column coming on the way. That's the product ID. Now, column name could be only just ID. But I prefer to call them with the name of the table followed by ID. For example, if I have a product table, I'll say product underscore ID. If I have a category table, and if it has an ID for it, each category has ID, then I'll say category underscore ID. I do that because if you put everything ID for all the products, all the tables, their main column, unique column, when you join two columns together or three tables together, it's harder to identify which IDs belongs to which table. Mm-hmm. So I add a little prefix, like this prefix, followed by, so if it is a product table, I'll say product underscore ID. If it is a category table, I'll say category underscore ID. If it is a user table, I'll say user underscore ID. This way, it will have some variance in them, meaning this ID belongs to product table. This makes easy for my eyes. What I mean by that is a P thinking. What I mean by that, I'll explain you here. Let's say I have order line table. You see, order line table also picked up something called product ID. So by using this extra word before it, like order underscore ID, order product underscore ID, mm-hmm. I can identify them as it belongs to separate table. This belongs to order table. This belongs to product table. This is a future thinking. I'm giving it ahead because if you put them all ID, you wouldn't know actually because they want to their numbers. But by looking at the column, the way you gave the name, it's also give us extra clue that this ID belongs to order table. This ID belongs to product table. So this is why I always give a name like this. Okay, is it clear to everybody?
Yes.
Anyone else watching it?
Fine.
Brilliant. So let's go ahead. First time, okay? So we must learn slowly. It is important. And that is the only thing. Oracle, any programming, any SQL language. So that is one thing I've done. I need a name for it. The rest of them are pretty much similar. Product underscore name. Let's quickly create them. This one will be characters. And in MySQL, the character is called, you have a character, of course, that's just for one character. But when you have a series of characters, the product name could be laptop, for example, a string of characters. Mm-hmm. I cannot choose this. I need to choose something further. It's called varchar. Let's see if it is have it. If it is not, we're going to just type it. It's here. It's called varchar. So there are two of them. One is a char or character, just represent one letter. One is varchar. Because our product name will be more than one letters. Mm-hmm. We should choose varchar. Okay, always simple. Varchar. Or I can type varchar, it will come. Of course, just like integer, you will have a length. You also mention a length for it. So I'm going to say, okay, how big this product name could be. You just have to use your educated guess. For example, my name, if my first name, I would say Shubroto, right? And maybe 7 characters. But of course, I'm not going to put 7 characters because not everybody's name is Shubroto. There are more long names, short name. It's better to have a bit more. So product name could be more than 1 word. So I would go about 100 character allowed for the product name. You could go 250, up to you. Now, unnecessarily putting so much, if you do not have a product name as such big, just make a guess how much you as a businessman to think if you give a too long name of a product, customer will get bored to remember it. People always choose tricky small 2 words, maybe 3 words high. And it cannot go beyond 100 characters. That will be too much. So you can even say, no, I'm actually going to restrict it to 50 characters. Why not? Choose here. I usually put a standard 100 for this kind of things. Now, this is important that you restrict these things because database cost money. Space of database is where you're paying actually for hosting. So you want to make sure of many of the hosting companies, that's why just give you one database, not more than one. But that's what the money is. That's like a live server. We have been using this cloud for now. We know that for iPhone, if you go over 5 GB, you need to pay more to get a 50 GB because it grows. So database is like that. Things that is coming, there's going to be inside the database, not in your web page. If you're going to be added to database, removed from database, it's going to be. So we try to be very calculative, not too much, not too less. If it is too less, let's say I put only 2 character long, and if I write something bigger than 2 letter or character, it's not going to store it. It's going to only store 2 characters. So if I put Shubroto here, for example, or laptop as a product, for example, it's not going to complain. It's going to just keep LA. That's it. Because you haven't said so. So always remember to give a educated guess. So I'm going to go with the 100. That's fine. I'm happy with that. That's gone. Again, you do not want this to be null, empty, not null. So this is a restriction given by the database themselves. This is not from PHP or JavaScript or frontend. JavaScript, the database should have its own restriction. We do that because I can then use this database for other applications, not just the web, for app in the app, or just the database itself, or in Excel. So I said, not null, nothing else. I don't want this to be auto increment. It's not possible because it's not a number, so it's not going to auto increment. I finish with that one. I'm going to go with the product price now. Product underscore price. Price, and of course this is, I'm not going to choose number, not going to choose character. It's going to be decimal, so I can keep
float
point. Yeah, float point. Yes, and they call it decimal in here. Decimal. Keep typing decimal, it will come. Now, of course, for decimal also you have 2 parts. One is how long prior to the dot point and how long after to the dot, decimal dot. So the first one is 6 up to 6 length. If you want a 10, go ahead and leave it. I don't think so many of them price will be that long, unless you obviously buying Ferraris of 3 of them. I don't know. maybe why not? So the first one is like 1 2 3 4 5 6. We allow 6, and this is, let's say this, or 99. So this is something restriction you have to give at the beginning. That's the decimal. That's why there are 2 of them. So this is some example. Okay, so not now. Not now. Done. Stock, for example. Stock will be, can anyone guess what could be the stock if you want to
integer.
Give? Integer, very brilliant. Integer. What would be the size, guys, if you want to give maybe Will it be a decimal? Of course, it's not decimal, it's integer. Go ahead and give 10, which will allow 10 digits like this.
10.
10. I think it's quite enough for stock, the length. So that's okay. Not now. That is done. Comma done. Now I need a product image text to store. I will have a default product image, like you saw sometime there is no product, so they put a camera or something. Oh, photography is coming, stuff like this. You can always, let me show you one of these default that I've collected, just to show you what I mean by that. Sometimes you find this default profile picture. So when you don't upload profile picture, you can have a dummy product profile picture. So let me go this. I have prepared an image for this, an empty images. Where is my PC globe? I think I put that in here. Asset image. Oh no! Just 1 second. By accident, I closed this. Go back again. Assets, and it has the image folder. For now, I just kept them separately. I have collected some of these images from the shop I showed you. I put them in the products. I know I have some of them given by the templates, but obviously just to separate them for now, I have created a folder called products, and I kept everything related to this new project here. Here I have a default product images. You can say, look, how does it look like? Not picture not available or something, maybe. I don't know. You could. And I called it default underscore product underscore image PNG. A PNG file downloaded from internet. So that's the file I'm using. So that has a name, default underscore product image. So I said, if every time an admin adds a product by filling the row, if he doesn't have one prepared, it will automatically take that particular default image. So let's do this. So you're going to say product. So you're going to give a default value to it. Product, city product, image. This is going to be varchar. That's because it's the characters, the name of the image. And I'm going to call it like, yes, what are you saying? No, never do that. Never do that. Never do that. It's a good question. Very good question. Common question comes. Your images are binary. If you should not put images into database. They are heavy to load. Never. Nobody. Yes, that's correct. You just put them because it will take huge amount of images. Your database will be extremely slow. Your web page will be hell of a slow. And besides, remember, image files are actually binary files. That's why you need a software to open them. You can't open them in text editor. If you try to open a text, you'll see nothing but some gibberish because they're binaries. And these binaries are directly compiled by this editor software. So they're heavy. And if you put real images, you have to reverse that binary to pixelation again. And nobody does this. First of all, just remove that idea from your head. That's because, but it is a good question. Never do that. You just store them in a server, just like an Oracle file. You just point to the path of the file. So it will be extremely. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We just want to track which product, which image is which product. That's it. And we can use a for loop to get the name and then link it to the, because this folder that you keep the file, they are fixed, aren't they? Like assets, image, products. They'll be same for all products, isn't it? So you just keep the name. It's a very good question, guys. Did anyone understand what he asked? Question? He said, Why don't we just put something? And in this case, if you do so for some reason, I want them to be actually binary products. So you could say blob binary of large object. This is a different data type. Blob. Oh, sorry. Image. Image blob. You see, this is not even a list. If you wonder what kind of thing, if it is a real picture, heavy picture, I want to put there, the binary object, we use something called blob, big, large object. So as you can see, you do not do this, but you can if you wonder. Yes, you can. But that is not that we're going to do. You just use virtual for now. And how much big the file name would be. Of course, when you prepare your assets, try not to put too long file name, image file name. That'll be too long. Just product 1, product 2, or give it a name. Maybe 50 characters long. The image. For my default one is almost few characters. Of course, if I don't have, your admin don't have product ready, yes, image ready yet, you can put a default pack. In this case, we are keeping only one image for each product. You can have multiple image, 5 image, you can allow 6 image, but think how many you want for your slideshow. You have to think about it. Of course, you can always add them later on into a database. It's not a problem. In this case, I'm just using one single image. So I'm just going to say product image virtual 4. If I want to use 4 or 5 images, you would go like this: image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4, image 5. 5 columns. Does it make sense? You can do that. 10 columns. But you have to stop at one point. You can just keep changing things. Because how many you need for your slideshow? Maybe 5, maybe 4. That's where you show multiple of them, don't you? So that case, 6, 10, 20, doesn't matter. Just put image 1, image 2, image 10, upload them separately. But obviously, also you can do separately something called another table for each bunch of images. But we're not going to go there. Usually keeping it here is fine. But for now, we're going to create one. And it's 50 characters and obviously default. I want to add something called default value. To write a default value, you write default, the word default. If no product added at the beginning, during insertion of the products, it will add the default one that we have created, which is, you can put a single quote around it or double quotation mark around it. So DEFAULT was the name. Let me just check that I gave default product image. Let me right click and just rename it, copy this name, select all, copy it, and just gonna put it here. Okay, and just gonna put it here. And I put a comma. This is like a default profile image as well. So if there is no product added, it will point to that empty default product. So that's pretty much done. We are done with our columns. Product ID, product name. Oh, you can add a description if you want. Of course, you will have a description, is it not? As you can see, I do not have a description. Why not adding a description? Blah, blah, blah. Some of this dummy data. Let me see if I did add a description. I don't think so. I have added a description. But it's a good idea to add, of course, description. You know, other things like description, sizes. So many things you can add. We can add more things. Here, it is nothing. But if you want, of course, why not? Add a description a little bit. Just under the name, you can add a description. Product description. This one is, if you want to edit, go ahead and edit. And it will be definitely a text kind of things. Yeah, it is voucher. Okay. Voucher. How many characters do you know? Description. Of course, product name we can guess. It could be maybe 3 words, right? At best. 4. But how about the description? It is big. It could be small. It could be, God knows.
500?
A lot of 500s. Yeah. It's a standard. Yeah, let's put 500. Now let me tell you something. Situation like this, like paragraph, blogs, which you never know how many of them. Would you? If it is a blog post, your actual content of the blog post could be more than that, 2 pages. So situation like that, where do you run into a situation where it's hard to predict? We have another fantastic things for it. But why not varchar? Absolutely fine. You can put varchar 500 or 1000, not a problem. The problem is this. If you have a description of 2 line or 1 line, less than 500 words, you still occupying the space in the database. Remember, for each of the record, which cost money. Does it make sense to anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I've chosen 1000. For each of the row under the description, it will be like up to 1000. Less is fine. More is difficult. It's not going to go more than 1000. That's one problem. But then again, if it's too less for most of your product, like maybe 100 word or 200, 300, are you not wasting money? You are, because your database is instructed, no matter what, try to allocate these characters for it. Even if you do not have the data, it will allocate. So you actually, so this kind of situation where it's hard to predict, like blog post is another example, newspaper, news articles. So that case, we have a fantastic things to handle this. It's called text.
Mm-hmm.
Just put text if you do not know. Now this one is cleverly done because obviously programmer knows that it's hard to predict. Text is something like illustric. Like illustric, you're gonna put more data, it's gonna only dynamically allocate as you go. It's not gonna preoccupy this information for your database. As you go, it's gonna keep adding, keep adding, as long as you want. If you write 200, it's gonna shrink it to 200 size. It's gonna only adjust whatever you type.
So wouldn't it be better to add it text also to the product name? Because one name can be very short and one name can be long.
Long? How long? How many characters?
I don't know, because that probably depends on the product. If you've got like some, I don't know, specified, specialistic camera or something like that, it's quite a long name.
Yeah, you can put them. Why not? That case, you can put text, no problem. There is text is the highest value it can take. Why not? Go ahead and do it. Mm-hmm. You may say, why I wouldn't do that? This, as I said earlier, this is an educational guess that you would choose. If you need maybe 250 is the highest. So how do I know this kind of things? How do I research about these things? Well, we check a standard website like WordPress, other CMS, what the average people, because they do their survey, they know. It's usually 250. Throw 250 everywhere, it's fine. Now the text, you can also use text, absolutely fine. But obviously, as I said to you, when you assign something to text, it comes with a little bit of think of giving more opportunity to entry officer to add as much they want, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's gonna go. And if you can, using this varchar and a restriction, using integer and a radius restriction, you also using a kind of restriction to it in the data entry. The how many characters. I cannot go beyond that. They works as a restriction as well. So if you go beyond 100 character, varchar is not gonna input it. Somewhere you're gonna save your things. So text is something that you absolutely don't know. So if you think product name will be bigger, how bigger that could be? I mean, in business model, you shouldn't have that big name anyway. Mm-hmm. Customer will not remember that. Go with the 250. That's why I said, if you really think, no, I can't be bothered, let's go with text. Absolutely fine. Go ahead. But you're allowing someone accidentally also put so many words as a product name.
Mm-hmm.
That cannot be restricted in this case. If I put text. So, go with your educational guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So have a look in this, how many data types we already have. It says over 16 or 18 different data types. We have learned about integer. They all have limit. Varchar, That's when you kind of can predict and give it a 250 is standard for these vouchers. Description type of things, blog post is in the text and the product. Of course, I forgot something for here. It's called not null. Now, this is up to you. Do you really want people to enter the product description, entry officer, or he can leave it empty? It's up to you. If you allow the entry officer, whoever entering, or the scanners to scan it and enter database, if the description is empty, then if that is okay with you, just remove the not null. That's it. That's it. Not null is the restriction. Not adding not null is no restriction of whether they want to skip that column for that product. Okay. But because it's not going to look nicer, if you have no product, you will find without a description, do you? You should have some description, at least one line. Even if you don't find description, people will still write description just to balance it up. Because your product, 5 products, and so 3 of them has description, 2 doesn't have it. Look odd, isn't it? So people add something on purpose. You must be able to describe your product. So this case, I will go with not null. If I go with, please add something to description.
Okay.
For the SEO, is it better to put a description?
It's always better. It's absolutely better. You must think of a description that you can describe. If it is a technical product, maybe instructions. You could have what do you call it? Configuration details. If it is PC, which processor you're using, this, that, what hard disk you're using. So that could go in a description easily. So you can keep it product description. As you said, it will be pulled by the database anyway. Of course, it could be good for search engine as well. Find a product description. And when you're searching a product which you do not know the name, but you kind of can explain it. For example, I was looking for folding keyboard, right? So I don't know which make that is. So I search folding keyboard with touchpad. That's pretty much how I searched. And if they have added those company product description, if any of this word matches, when it will print out, it will grab that. Google will grab that because it's at least matching. You'll see yourself finding in a situation when you saw a product, but you don't know the name. You kind of type it. Did you happen like this in your cases, guys? Anyone? I saw a product, but I don't know what it's called. Many times. It is like one of the Shazam or some app. When you heard a song somewhere, I know this song. I know the tune, but I don't know the word. So there is an app. I don't know. You guys use it? Shazam or something? Yes, if you open that app, very good app, very sensitive. It's a voice recognition, amazing voice recognition. It identify the tune, even there is no lyrics. It searches database. It matches the frequencies and so many other things pulled out. This is the song you're talking about. So,
you just gave me an idea.
Really?
What about Shazam for products? So the user would say few words, and then it can give you the products and where to buy them, and then boom.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Product search is available, mate, already.
Yeah.
The voice is already available. Unfortunately, every website is built in. Yeah, Alexa does that every day. Your house, Alexa does that. Google product does that. Your TV does that. Yeah. Nowadays, you can voice recognition came long way. You can even open your bank app with your voice. You know that. Earlier it was thumbs, then you kept face. Now you just say it, your voice.
Yeah.
It will open up. You know that, right? Most of the banks have it.
You record someone's voice, you know?
Oh, no. Okay. Recording it will identify. Try it. NatWest, if anyone have Halifax, they started. Halifax or NatWest, they all started. Try with the recording. NatWest. Barclays did it?
Barclays, yeah.
Yeah, I saw in NetWest and Halifax as well. They do it. So if you try yourself recording, it will detect the mechanical sound and your pure voice. This is amazing where we are going. This is brilliant. A few years back, it wasn't possible. And I don't know if you have been to the, I hope you don't have to go to the hospital, or maybe for relatives you went and you saw a doctor typing prescription. They don't type anymore prescription. They say the word, the email, sorry, you're sending a report about this. They say the word and the email got composed. I saw it. They're nice. Yeah. Including all the medical word. They use something called natural speaking. There is a very expensive software called natural speaking software. It's quite about £1,200 or something. I don't know. They have many of them, but the one they use is on the top in the world is the natural speaking. They've been with this development over almost 3-4 decades. They're trying to do this. They're so accurate, but very expensive software. And they're using that. And the doctor is saying in English accent, in British accent. Frequently, some doctor are not in English, but those who came here with different accent, maybe some little bit of European, Indians, Bangladeshis, they're speaking up. Good, as long as it's okay. So this is called natural speaking. There is a name for this company. Natural speaking is the concept, but there is a company. If you say, I forgot. If you search top voice recognition software, you'll find that it's quite expensive. And when you use it, so this is your product details, guys. This is extremely important that you understand and you know it by heart by understanding it. I know it's not easy to remember all of it. Not that you would need to, but it's a basic concept, just like declaring a variable. Name a variable, give a size of the data type, and then obviously add some restriction to it. So stock is this, the product image is this. We still have a few more things to complete. It is called, now one of these key would be assigned as something called primary key. Now what is a primary key? A primary key is a unique key in the database. Let's have a look, an example from our, this table, the table that we already have. So it's easy for you to see. Now this is a primary key. So we need to assign, even though this is auto increment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to auto increment anyway. As soon as I enter the new product, that means I don't even have to provide data for it. I just have to provide data for these guys. This is fine. And if I don't provide data for product name, it will be by default. However, I still need to assign one of these column as a unique key, and primary key is unique, by instructing our command. So the way we do that in relation database, you must have an ID as a primary key. So I have to write a syntax for it. It's called primary key. I have to install primary key. Key. It's 2 words, and you tell which one will be acted as a primary key. And we're going to choose product ID as a primary key. Okay, that's our last part of the table. So then we must choose. Usually primary key goes with the auto increment one, the first one, ID. That's a common. That means 2 things will happen when I say this is I assign this key primary one. It cannot be empty while you're entering something. If you enter a new record, you must give an ID. If you don't, obviously you don't have to this case because we have this nowadays. We didn't have this before, auto increment. We used to manually add them. Now that we have auto increment, so obviously it will make sure that's never going to be empty anyway. But it cannot be duplicated because that's also taken care by this anyway. But now we need this product ID to identify each product individually, even though they have same name. You can have a product with the same name, only slightly different colors or maybe different things in it. So there will be a primary key in every table in a relational database. 1 or 2. You can have more than 1 key as a primary key. For a user, you could have a user ID plus their email address as a unique key. Or just email address unique key. You can have 4, 5, 6 column works as a unique. Why to complex it? Simple. Just wanted to. Okay, this is done. My table has been officially done. However, this is something you may not find everywhere. I'm just going to add it to you guys to show you that this is how important this is. You're based on the setup of your server. If I run this scripts, it will automatically create the table structure for it, but no data at all. I haven't sent any data. Okay. I haven't sent any data yet. So, but I want to add something more because I know that this is going to be very complex relational database, maybe connected. So there is an engine support for it, which is by default, it will give you anyway, because based on what server system you have set up, what UTF you set up. UTF you saw earlier when I was in the home page where I was here. There are some information you can pick up from here. If I go to home, on the right side, it tells you what kind of UTF. Can you see that? It says UTF-8. So no matter which database you create, it will add UTF by default. Even though it says those kind of things, but I don't want to take any risk. I want to add this into my code. That's because, okay, with MySQL, it's fine. But if somebody takes my database and use it for Oracle, they may not have the same engine. Or he might have a different interface for his, this might be with different encoding. Maybe he's using different encoding, but I want for my product to be UTF-8. So rather than leaving on this feature on this guy, we can just say, no, we want to add that, make sure that this is not going to happen. So I need to add few features. One of the features that I will be using, look at where I'm using it. Your table is basically finished. You see the semicolon, Kasha, why I didn't put the semicolon early is because something will go between this. Okay. So I kept it on purpose. So I know that I'm going to add this, but if you have added it, make sure you cursor in between it. Or just remove it and keep typing this new feature, which is, let's do it a little bit. First is engine, something called engine. Now this engine, this is a very unique engine we're about to add. It's called INODB. Small letter. Actually not small. INNODB. Now this is hard to remember. Of course you wouldn't. Even if you don't add it, it will add whatever default setup it has. This is optional. I recommend you to add at least these features. Now INODB is special types of engine. Of course we know database, but the database has different engine system. What is it? I'm not going to go into it. There are many different types of engines they use internally. We don't need to know about them. Only thing you need to know is if your database you're planning to have a relational database, which means they're connected. You can connect table that I showed you in the picture. You must give the support as INODB. This is the only DB that supports it, and is the mostly widely used engine. Very popular. Later on, many other came. Make sure these are INODB. Okay, so we're not going to leave on it on different setting of the machine, or different server. We're just going to embed it. We're going to enforce it. That's the engine I want. Even though you saw the default character set was UTF for this particular machine of this page, but I'm not going to take a risk. Just like I did it for HTML, I'm going to do it here as well. So I'm going to say character set. CHAR set. I want equals to 8 UTF. Slightly different. This time is a small letter. This thing you're not going to remember. Just keep a copy with you. Sometimes I don't remember. So at this bit, I just keep a copy. The rest of the thing we built together. So we know what is it. This is just to know that this exists. Maybe you're wondering hours. I'm trying to connect with primary phone. Why it's not working? That's because you did not have added the support of INODB. Why I added some pound sign in my database. Why when I'm reading it is changing to something weird. Symbols. So we want to do this. UTF-8. UTF-8. This is what you do. And this character set, of course, I want as a default. I said, please make default character set for this. Any record in that database, in this table, the character set should be encoded at this default character set. So that's default character set. These two must be there, at least. These two must be there to make sure of that. That I want, and then you can finish it with semicolon. Okay. That's it. That's pretty much your database. Okay. That's pretty much your database. A table. That table. Of course, you may wonder, what else I can add? You can add things like this as take home, but something that I'm going to introduce, just keep it there. I can't explain this one to you at this moment. Even if I explain it, you will not comprehend it. It's called collate. It's a subsector. Think about it as a sub-support for UTF. So this is UTF-8 again. 8, 7, 8, and smaller, it should be smaller. UTF-8. Don't worry, if you don't write these things, it's not going to be a problem. It's going to automatically add. It is just for those who wonder. That'll be a good idea. Of course, for your old table, it will be a good idea. You don't even realize this until you go massive development.
Sorry, Subrata, just one question. It doesn't matter if it's 8 UTF or UTF-8? Because I see you've got a different writing.
Did I put? Oh, yeah. It should be UTF. Thanks. That's why I'm saying, why it's not continuing. UTF, it should be UTF-8. You're absolutely correct. It is UTF-8. And
okay. All right.
I just made it smaller so you can see. This collate thing, you do not need it at the moment. Think of it as a subset of UTF. So you said, of course, I want the subset also UTF, Unicode, CLI. But setting character set UTF, within the UTF character set, multiple different versions of it even. So there are Roman, there are this, there are that, there are this, there's within the UTF-8. Chinese has 2 languages, like Mandarin and another one, I don't remember, they have 2 bytes. But you want everything with UTF, subset also UTF. So let's put it like this. If you want to. So this line, often I just copy paste, I forget. This line. Now we've done that, put semicolon. This is good way for futuristic, from experience. Many people don't need them. They rely on, when you're installing it in the development, rely on the one comes with it. But then this could cause problem when you ship the code to a server or somewhere, and they have slightly different. But this will ensure that all server works similar. This additional support is extremely important to add them. So we'll keep them. As I said, InnoDB, character set is UTF here, similar to the index. This is. Now let's go ahead and this should finish. If I don't have errors, I should be able to install this. Copy this. And I go here, make sure I select PC Globe database. That's I selected by clicking here. Make sure that this is able to go to SQL. You just have to do it once. Later on, we'll import it. At the moment, we're doing slide by slide. When we finish the entire database, we can do it separately. I'm just doing slide by slide. Let's see if I haven't done heavily mistakes. I should be able to. It should work. Yeah, a green information says MySQL returned with a good to go, and the scripts are printed whatever I ran, and I can see a product table here. It's an empty table.
Okay.
So I'm gonna send it to this chat if you want to try it, Kasha. So it's here. You can try, go ahead and fire it up. That's your product table. You can add a lot more things with it. For example, you could add, if you want to, let's say I want to add
Yes,
try this
it
first.
works.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, it works. Yeah, brilliant. Let's say if you want to add other things to column, let's say you want to, you forgot about one column. Oh my God, I forgot that. I want a feature product, for example, right?
Mhm.
But I already have created the table. Oh dear God. And watch, why I'm typing it down. Pay attention, those who are learning. I'm typing it because I have a copy of it. It's anytime I've done mistake, I can delete the previous one, copy it, paste it again. Am I not correct?
Mhm.
If I wouldn't have a copy of it, look, after creating it, this is gonna go away. This is gonna go away if I switch somewhere. So all the time things I typed is gone. So the best thing to do when you develop, build your database step by step. Build it, keep a copy, keep a copy. Now imagine I did it on purpose because I want to add something interesting. Let's say I want to add few of the product, I want to add feature or non-featured, right?
Mhm.
If they're featured, I put 1. If they're non-featured, I put 0. By default, they all will be 0. They all will be 0 because they're not features. Only the highlighted product, newly come product, I can turn them to featured product, and I can have a section on the top, featured product. Just you saw here, just you saw in this one, it has a section for it in the home page called featured product or categories. Never mind. Hey, there is it. So you see, this is have a featured product. This is just came. Now, how do you identify them with others? So you needed some sort of column, a flag to identify. And you as a line manager, when you're adding them, add them into feature product. You must have seen that feature in the shop, right? TK Maxx and other shops. When the new thing comes, they put in the front of the shop usually to say, oh, these are the feature for this month. So you could do that in the database as well. So we forgot to do that. We need to add one more. If you want to, it's not, you just decided to do it. So because I already have a product table, I could do like this. I could just go here and I said structure of the table, and I can add a column. I can add a column. Yeah, I can add a column. I want to add a column. Where I want to add a column, add to central column, add a new column after whatever you like. So this is your column name. I want to add here or after product image. Why not? I can add all remaining things here. So I can usually use this to do this, but I'm not going to use it. I usually don't use these things. I'm just going to add that into update my this script. So as I said, it will be stored. I want this after this column. Okay. And I'm going to call it featured. Featured. If it is features, it is a Boolean type. So you learn another thing. It's a Boolean type, and by default, it will be all my product will be non-featured. And to represent that, you can put between 0 and 1. 0 mean non-default, false, 1 mean 1, mean true. I can use that. Featured, the data type is Boolean, it can only hold 2 values, 0 or 1, 0 or 1. By default, when you add a product, it will be non-featured by default.
So non-feature is 0?
That's correct.
Okay.
So I'm saying feature, 0, no. Or you can say no. Or you can, if you want, you can also write like this. No. Manually, you can add that. But because I have a beautiful Boolean type, why do I bother? It's just between either 1, 0. 1 mean true, yes, positive. 0 mean null, negative, not available. That's it. So you can add this. Now that I added a new column, I'm going to delete my previous column in one click, recreate it. I always do this fresh. I do not do half here, half there. I don't do that. Never do the half here, half there. As you can see, I saw that I could easily use this technique in the graphic, I can say, hey, add a column, 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, and go, and it's going to ask me the number and name and everything. But I'm not going to do this, because if I do half there, half there, it's not going to be unique every time I transfer it to my client. I always add that here. If necessary, I'll just delete it. Now let's do delete it, because we want to update. This is always a good idea. Otherwise, you might end up with, by mistake, in a rush and things, something you have changed here, but not in actual scripts. Remember, that is script, is everything. So you click on that table on the left. If you don't see it, just click this. And then I want to delete it. How to delete it? Always in the operation. Any deletion goes in operation. But make sure you select the table that you want to work with, the branch that you want to chop off. Click on operation. Find something called delete at the bottom. There are 2 options. Delete. In database, this concept is called drop. And truncate is another technical word, means empty. Let's say you don't know, there's nothing wrong with the structure, but there are some rows you don't want. You have a lot of mistakes in different rows, and you want to empty the table, but it will keep the structure, but delete the records. That case is called truncate. In this case, we want to delete it. Just press delete. To ask, it says, you are about to destroy a complete table. Excuse me, do you really want to execute drop table? The one hacker always want to do this. Drop table name. Gone. Database name. So I'm just going to say, yeah, delete it. Now this was easy, is it not? Just select, go to operation, delete. It won't be easy if I have this table linked to another table. If they share the record, because it's shared, it depends on another table, or another table depends on it. If you have that situation, you won't be able to delete it without deleting the parent table, which is complex to tell. So I will tell that later on. At the moment, I could delete it easily, because this is only single table, and yet I don't have another table, and I want to delete it. I just select it. But imagine if I had a category table, and each of these products fall under one category. They're linked using category ID, and I want to delete the one particular product, or all the product, or all the table of products. I can, because that's the child. But if I want to delete the category table, which is borrowed by the child table, I won't be able to delete category table without deleting the child. Now, this is something I'm going to discuss anyway. If it is deletion needed, you just select it. The table at the moment I don't have anymore. Go to operation, drop it. So now I'm going to recreate it. So I'm just going to copy this little fella. Copy it again. Copy this with the new feature. So you learn a lot. You learn integer, virchar, text, decimal, almost all of them. A Boolean, virchar, not blob literally. These are the main of them. There is another one called date time. We see that in user table. When you create a user table, maybe if we create one, when the user has been registered. For entry of a product, it will be almost every week's job. So it's no point to add date. If you want to, you can. For a post, perhaps, or article that you want to post in your blog, that's perhaps. So date, I'm not going to need it. So yeah, let's go ahead and recreate it. I make sure that I click on this. Go to SQL Server. Paste it here with the new things. And go fire it up. Now that I have that, let's inspect if I have that column featured. You see, this is my empty table column, how it look like. I don't have any row yet. I do not have any row at all. I do not have a row at all. I do not.
What do you mean?
I don't have any data.
Oh, okay.
So that's why you don't see row. But you have seen the structure. This is your structure. You see? Integer, virture, text, decimal, intro, virture, tiny integer. That's your boolean 1 or 0. Will it allow null? Yes. That means if somebody doesn't enter anything by default, it will be 0. And this one also. If nobody, for this you must, an entry clerk must enter the details. Must enter at least this. This will be automatically. But this one, if they ignore to enter the name of the product image, by default will be this guy. And for the feature, if you don't choose whether it's going to be featured or non-featured, by default it will be a non-featured product. All of them. Okay, so I think this is, obviously we have been taking, do you guys need a little break or do you want to try this? Just give it a go first. Anyone wants to try it? Or do you want me to continue? Anyone there falling asleep other than me, Kasha, Hawk, and Raphael? I don't even know.
No, I think we need some practice.
Practice. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to upload this. Go ahead and try it. I have a challenge for you. If you have done that, if you can, you should be able to create almost any table of your choice. All I want you to do, go ahead and create a table with this data. Okay, we haven't inserted anything. The first thing first, this is I want to add. But obviously, you may wonder, how can I add a product? How can I also add some record?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do we actually enter the data? Yeah.
That's correct. So this is the second part of it I'm going to show. Obviously, you can create other tables as well. As time goes by, we will be using a category table as well. If you want a category, different category. For now, I'm going to keep this. Let's go ahead, try to understand this. Let's go ahead, write a syntax that's going to add few products for us. Okay. Then I'm going to release it to you guys. I'll ask you guys, try at home, and a task I'll be giving you that you should do. Imagine a contact table that will hold information when customer fill up the contact form. It could be name, email. Choose the field you like. Description of the problem. Create, and you can create a product table. What do you call it? A contact table. A contact table, or try to create a user table. I think that's a great thing you can do. Create table users. Think of it. User ID, username, first name, last name, right? So choose one of those and try to create it at your pace. Okay, later on. For now, I'm going to show you how to insert data. Okay. So insert record. We call it insert record to product. Actually, let's just say, don't have to explain like that. Product. Okay. Okay, so this line will represent whatever it is from there. So here we're going to insert some data. I know that I have made some data. I'm just going to create some dummy data, okay? So bear with me. I'm going to get some dummy basic. And I have some images that I put into that folder, which you will find anyway. So when I upload this, so you can try. Obviously, this is not gonna be actually in the. We don't have things here. I have added some products: laptop, desktop, monitor. Found a logo for it, some USB drive, some DVD, some shopping cart, whatever. It's just a fun that you can try. Obviously, we are not building UI yet. We're not connecting together. We're just focusing on the database. So let's create, according to that inventory I have, I'm going to insert something. So I'm going to say insert is quite simple. Insert into is one word. Name the table, product. Sorry, small letter. Product. Put a bracket like this. Okay. Back like this, you must mention the column name that is mandatory in here. Product ID is not mandatory. So, but anyway, for now, just put it the way you like to. So let's say if I do product ID, comma, I'm just going to show you this way first, and I'm going to show you multiple way. Okay, let's put all of them. Product name, comma, then come product description. Did I do mistake? PRODUCT description. Hope I didn't do mistake. I can copy it actually. Stock. Let me just knock it down this way so it'll be easy for me to type. These are column name. We have to list all column name. The column name, especially those who are mandatory. But I'm listing them all anyway. Product, image, feature, featured, past. So I did that. This is all could go all the way to the end, as you can see. So in this case, if you think it's gonna be too big, you could just do like this. Very simple techniques you can use. I'm just gonna I reduced it so I can see it, and I'll make it bigger in a minute. Just to organize yourself, if you see so many of them, column name listing, this makes your life easy. Maybe if you have too many of them going all the way, you can do this. So that's one thing, followed by the values. Something called values. Okay. Now the values for the product ID. Do I have to provide an ID? A question to you. For each row. What do you think? Anyone? Do I have to provide an ID?
Yes,
1, 2,
because
3?
it is necessary, yeah.
Think again. Look at the code.
I mean, ID it cannot be null, no? So you have to provide it.
Which is good, but then watch again on line 11. Watch out for some extra thing we added on my screen. A should. But after that, what do you see? So if I don't provide it, it will add one
automatically, yes?
Yeah. So now see, I'm going to remove some of the column that I don't need to provide. So I don't need this. You only put this column in if you are providing the data. Okay. I'm not providing it. You can put it like this, or you can put null, just null, capital. It will automatically add it for you. But why to bother? Get rid of this. Only I'm going to provide things that is matter to it. So because I removed it from here, I must remove it from here. They have a sequence. Always remember. Your system knows. Your system knows that for this, it's going to be auto increment. So it's never going to start with product ID because you removed it. So don't follow. The first item will be automatically inserted. Second item, product name. Okay. So this one is mandatory and it's not auto increment. So I have to give a name. So the first one I'm going to give, I'm going to say called CD, for example. Maybe I'll put capital CD, maybe. Okay, let me just make it a little bigger for you so you can see. So that's okay. So that means the first column, I'm matching it. If you don't have to provide them unnecessary, don't worry about them. Do I need a description? No. Yes, we do. Okay. So this kid, I'm going to say this is, I have nothing to write about. CD is gone. Maybe DVD. Shall we write DVD? Do they look like DVD? No, DVD doesn't look like this. Okay, just leave it there. Who cares? This is CD for, I mean, I don't know what to write. I just wrote it there. That's the description. After that, what do you have? Oh, where is the price?
Stock.
I think I missed the price after description.
Yes.
Yeah, I should give. I think I missed the price. So product. You can copy paste from there. Product price. So this one mandatory, and I have to provide it. A comma. Third one is price, and price is a decimal. Remember. So that case you don't have to put single or double quote. You just put. Let me put it 99p. After product CD, that's the name. Then comes description. This is CD. Then come product price, which is goes in 099, and then comes what? Stock, right? Let's put 10 of them each. So that's okay. What left? Images, yes. Remember image. If I don't put anything,
so you put default, yeah?
Yeah, I have default for both of them. So,
do you write default or it just automatically goes?
No, initially I do not want to write it because during the entry, I want it to take by default feature, which is for the product image, which is the file I have written here.
The default image.
Yeah, and it is very common during the creation of these things. You may not have the picture ready, so it will pick up default thing. I removed it. Feature also I can remove it.
Or you can put 0, yes? So it's not featured. Or...
Yeah, that's good. That's another very good idea. You could do that. So if you want to, for this one, definitely it's going to be default product image, okay? But if you want to keep it, just keep it, because maybe I will have some data into it. Here, after product, the image is default, right? If I don't put it. But if I put it, I can put, let's say, I have image ready. So I'm going to call it cd.png. Okay? Because I have image for it. And then, do you like to be featured? Non-featured? If you want a featured, obviously go with 1. If you want non-featured, go with 0. Okay? So apart from the product ID, I'll pretty much put everything, don't I?
And that is the first row of the.
That's the first row. That's correct. I can add more and more row. All you have to do, put a comma, keep adding them. So some people separate this like this. It doesn't matter how many space you put. It's flexible, or how you show them in your scripts. So 1 row gone. Second row. Let's say another one. This get what value I want. I want a monitor. Monitor. I have some data that I'm using. 99.99. I forgot something. Description. So I'm gonna say this is a monitor for fun, okay, for now. 99, and what I goes, and then I go the stock of 10. I'm going to keep the 10 for all of them, and of course I have a little laptop monitor.png. I try to make everything PNG here, and then what I have, this is featured, non-featured. Okay, was fun. Go ahead and just do this again and again. I'm just going to copy it just for my simplicity purpose. And then a few more items I'm going to add quickly. And I think I would add 6 to balance it up. Monitor is done. And this one will be laptop. Laptop. Something that we all can remember. Simple, so we can do search and all these things, like you can query our database easily rather than writing a complex product name. This is a bit expensive, $499.99. Oh no, sorry, this is a laptop, and it's $499.99. This will be laptop.png, I believe, small letter. Laptop.png. .png, and this goes desktop. I have a desktop computer, desktop, and I have a desktop. Even though it'd be harder, somebody had to put it initially. Desktop. Okay, so the price first initial, but nowadays you have a scanner. All the suppliers sends it. You can send it with a barcode, and you scan it, and it's get automatically added. Desktop, so people don't have to enter it. But even though for the barcode, somebody had to enter it first time. So USB 2, I have two types of USB 2.0, 2.0, the very old one. This is USB 2.0. Price is kind of, I didn't say the size or anything. This is USB 2.0. One. Do we have a terabyte nowadays? No, we have GBs in 16 GB. You can just put like this information. How much it is gonna cost us? $4.99. And I have, this is USB. Let me see, the picture name is called USB underscore 2.0 .png. Okay. 2.0. And this one is USB. Just copy this guy. This guy. Oops, sorry. USB 3.0. I think we have now 5, don't we? USB 5 came. But anyway, leave it there. The 3.0, this is 32 GB. This is $9.99. This is 3.0. Okay, so the last one I am, and I will finish that with a semicolon. That's pretty much should be. If I haven't done horrible mistakes in the column name sequence, if I maintain the sequence properly, I have all non-feature. Yes, very good observation. Well done. Saved me some time. But you see, even if you do this, when you copy paste it and you run it, the good news is it's trying to give you some signal. Let's have a look at that one. Let's remove this X on purpose, okay? But thank you for reminding, so we know where the error we might encounter. So this is product price, stock, product image. Of course, all of the product are non-featured, don't they? Let's make 2 or 3 product featured, okay? So this one I'm gonna, obviously these are very low-end products. It's non-featured. Only the high-end product, laptop. These 2 I'm gonna make it featured. And desktop. These 2 laptop are featured now. Okay, so let's see if I'm successful. I have an error on purpose. I'm gonna make here. See if it works. Just to see. Copy it. And do the same thing. Make sure you select the product table on the left and go fire up SQL. It's trying to give you some information. Get rid of that. Paste it here. This is quite good interface in terms of running the code. If you have errors, usually it gives it, but sometimes it doesn't. So I'm not going to rely on this. I'm just going to go ahead and fire it, see if I've done a mistake, how many places.
Sorry, what do I need to select? The product table?
No. Yeah, oh, yes, of course. Yeah. So because you're inserting, where are you inserting? Inserting
in the product, yeah? But if I go to SQL, it tells me select from product where. Shall I delete it or?
Delete it. That is a default template that gives you.
Okay.
You delete that, but you get rid of that clearly. And I kept a mistake on purpose. And
Oh, I've got a mistake as well.
Yeah. So it says you have an error. I know there is a mistake that is just Mr. Hawk identified. A comma has been missing. And I kept it that way to see whether this interface can help us a little bit. So it's saying you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your MariaDB server version for the right syntax to check. So near stock. Can you see? It's trying to figure it out. Did you notice that, Mr. Hawk? It's trying, but it's quite nice that it helps. But it might be more than one error, you see. But it picks up first error. So it says, could you please fix it? And if you look around this, it still doesn't know where it is, what it is. It's not going to tell you what it is. It says line 5 of this. Here is a line 5 here somewhere. Is found. Maybe it could come from above. But we know the 9.5 doesn't have it. But it might come from above. So let's keep an eye on it. And it is there. It couldn't insert it. It kept your code. So you can check it. It's never going to insert it unless you fix it. So let's fix it both places. Not only, you see another mistake people do. They fix it here, but forget to update here. And when you submit the project, you end up with errors. I have this thing happen so many times. Even though after you tell them many times, sometimes it's because they work with massive databases. Sometimes they do. So I kind of tell them again, please do it here first. Even though it sounds weird, do it here. Every little bit error, you figure it out, do it here. Don't forget, don't for the next one. And go ahead and do this, tell this. So then I'll do this. Hopefully it is okay. I still have product, PRODUCT, description. I have a product description wrong. It's saying unknown column. It doesn't have a product description. Let me check. Or maybe I misspelled it. Oh, I missed the S. Dear God. I shouldn't have done that. So what can I do? I can actually edit it straight away here. But I will obviously make sure that I also do this here. Let it do this first here. I'm not going to recreate the whole table again or do this. A little small thing I can do it here. But I have to make sure that I first do these things. Okay. Description. And here I missed a word des. Okay. That's why it couldn't match the value. I said save it. Description. Save it. Go ahead and save it. What is doing? Yeah, this is okay now for these things. And now I should be able to insert my information, I believe. It's really simple if you think. It is English-like and it's all makes sense. Each of this idea makes sense. So that's it.
Actually, inserting the data is a very big job. Other programs which will be importing the data, because if you do it manually, it's just like...
Yeah, it is. Somebody had to insert for your first time when you're adding product for yours. You might have to add it manually. Unless you have a system where you scan a barcode, supplier send you a product, and you just put, and obviously supplier send you a barcode. There is a barcode on the product. You scan it and it goes straight away to database. This is how nowadays is. Obviously, you just scan it. Somebody in the warehouse doing it. Somebody had to either.
Now I know why it's so expensive to do that.
It is. Data entry is the most. It is. It's quite a killing process.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody has to. Even if you have a supplier sending you the barcode, you scan it. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about the guy supplier himself, when he had a product, he had to write description, doesn't he? So he
Yeah,
needed to
exactly.
somewhere he need that.
Yeah.
That's correct. We're not yet there. By looking at a product, it figures out everything. We have to manually put it at some point. So yeah, the product table. Let's select product table. Try to insert this newly added record, hopefully. And every time you go there, it gives you these things. Get rid of these. Paste it here, and hopefully we would be able to. Go ahead. Yep, 6 row inserted. As you can see now, it's talking properly. This information is so vital. Those who's watching, I just did a write operation. It says 6 rows inserted. This information, your database is giving you back, and we can take this piece of information back to the. We can collect this information using the PHP. And then we can display it to you guys. Because if it is not successful, it will never give you any positive feedback. Because you're using a web interface to add data or user registration. You do not have the server always open in front of your eye. So they can communicate. If success, it will give you information like this on success. It will return some piece of information which you can then say, hey, a product has been added. So if it is not good,